I'm Joe Knittig. I'm the CEO of the Global Orphan Project in the United States. I'm the CEO of a care sharing technology called Care Portal, and I had the amazing privilege of executive producing Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot, about this crazy man.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm the CEO of an organization called Upbring. The way we describe ourselves is we're a large nonprofit that you've probably never heard of that's right in the backyard of Austin. We were founded 140 years ago on the principles and faith of Lutherans, and we are statewide. We have over 85 locations. We have over 1,500 employees, and we serve about 10,000 to 15,000 children a year. And our mission is to end intergenerational child abuse.
Thank you, Mr. Lou.
Well, I'm Bishop Aaron Blake, and I am the CEO dishwasher of Harvest Family Life Ministry, and now presently working with Dream Together 2030, foster care and adoption, and upstream in prevention, as well as Care Portal, former board member of the Global Orphan Project.
I think I should do my intro now, because then that's going to segue us to you, the man of the hour, Bishop Martin. So I am SaulPaul, 3-time Grammy-nominated artist, musician with the message, 3-time TED Talker. Jesus saved me, and now I dedicate my life to service. I'm a former foster youth. I have a testimony. My mom died when I was 3. My dad left before I was born. Through no fault of my own, I was placed in foster care. I was adopted by this amazing woman named Pearlie. Everybody called her Big Mama. I called her Mama. She was the only mother that I knew. She was 65 years my elder. She raised me as an only child. She did the best she could. Nonetheless, I made bad choices. Got arrested by the FBI when I was 17. Went to prison when I was 20. Gave my life to Christ. God blessed me, got out of prison, came to Austin, went to the prestigious University of Texas at Austin. That was a clappable moment. Not for the UT, but for redemption. Like, God can do many great things. I think I was even wondering, I mean, I'm dope, but I was like, I wonder why they asked me to moderate the panel, and I forget that I actually have lived experience. I'm like what happens when people come around a child that's in the system and you love on them and you invest in them and you support them. And even when they go left and make bad choices, like going to prison, you still love and you support. And then look what God does. So I'm excited to be here. I'm honored to be amongst you. Thank you for what you do for other youth that are in the system and the families that love on them and support them. So give it up for them. All right, and now we get to talk a little bit about the story of Possum Trot. So Bishop Martin, can you go ahead and do before we hop into that, now you get to do your 30-second intro.
I'm Bishop W.C. Martin. I pastor Bennett Chapel Church in Possum Trot, Texas, on the other side of Coonville. I have a little church back down in the woods. We adopted 77 children in 23 families from the state of Texas. We also are part and cause the Sound of Hope, the Possum Trot story, to be aired all over this country. Y'all can clap now.
Look at Bishop. Bishop, I like that. That's crowd control. It's okay. How will they know without a teacher? All right. Bishop, what sparked this passion for orphan care? And how did your congregation respond to such a radical calling?
It came through my wife, and now her mother died. And you have to understand that in places like Possum Trot, they got small families, and she had 17 brothers and sisters, and I had 9 brothers and 1 sister, so we just got small families. But when her mother died, one day she was going through and said, Lord, if you don't take this pain off of me, just let me die. I don't want to live in this world no more. And the Lord said, give back. You talk about all of the love that your mother gave you. Give it back to a child that don't know what love is all about. And I don't know how many of you all have adopted a child or fostered a child. But one thing I will say this. Don't expect for a child to know what they have not been taught. If they hadn't been taught love, don't expect love. It will become your responsibility. So when we got together and started adopting children, and why the church got involved in it, because I had to look up in the Bible, because I was wondering, why is it that God come all the way back in them bushes, you know, to do what he wanted to do. So when I looked in the Bible, I discovered that every child of God has been adopted. Y'all can say amen. See, and because you've been adopted back into the royal family of God, I feel that right now I started preaching about and telling everybody know that we all are been adopted. So let's continue what the Bible teaches us to do by reaching back and gathering another. And I wonder why God came to Possum Trot. The only thing I can think of, if we can do it in Possum Trot, help me, Holy Ghost, you can do it right here.
That was a great segue. I was going to talk about a radical calling. You can handle me going off script. Can anyone guess how old Bishop Martin is? Somebody said 70? What was that?
Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. You giving me something I didn't deserve. 45. How about that?
All right. Bishop is, now I'm just going out, like 81?
Nope.
No, what is, I'm going off, Pete got me again. All right. How old, sir?
78. I'm 78.
78?
78. And it ain't no shame in my game.
That would be the goal. Like, I want to be like you when I grow up. Thank you for that, sir. You are modeling it well. Just like what you in church, just like you and your church did as well. So the Story of Possum Trot, who here has seen the movie? Okay, let me reverse it. Who here has not seen the movie? Tomorrow at 1 p.m., we will be screening the film. It won't take place here. It's a few blocks from here at the historic Houston-Tillotson University. You want to go see it. Bishop will be there as well. You'll have a chance to get some behind the scenes about the film. The film is amazing. It's hard to describe. I like to say they eradicated the need for foster care in their community. Y'all don't know me well enough so I can like be myself, but I'll be myself anyway because it's a lot of white jokes. I'm like, y'all pause it all. Like, y'all have to keep getting led to like all the clappable moments. It's okay. Like when you hear something amazing, like, wait, they eradicated the need for foster care in their community? That's absurd. Like, that's why. That's radical. Now, the Story of Possum Trot is a radical story of love. How has embracing this love impacted your own life and the lives in your community?
The Sound of Hope, the Possum Trot story, demonstrate the love and compassion hearts and mind of people that only have love in their heart. If you love Jesus, you ought to love children, especially those that don't understand. The state of Texas decided that they was going to give us the worst children they had. And if I tell you, them little rascals almost drove me insane. But I'm crazy enough to know that if God be for us, all right. Who can be against us? Yeah. I'm crazy enough to believe that if you stand, the Lord will stand with you. It was rough. It was tough. But we were successful, very successful in doing what we're doing. And let me tell you all something. We got 77 and we kept 77. That's right. We did not. And see, a lot of times we feel like that I can't do this no more. The word can't is not in the Bible, but can is. You can do what you need to do when you trust God to bring you through it. We kept all 77. There was time that we almost gave up. Somebody said, but God.
But God.
And I think all of us ought to have a but God story to know that when you almost about to give up, but God will step in and give you that you need in order to go forward. So I'm encouraging you all today, when you got a child, when you go out to get one, don't give up. Just stay with the Lord and stay in the process and watch God move in your life. I don't want to preach, so y'all can say amen again.
I want to apologize. I'm sorry. No, not for you. It's just I have a personal relationship with Christ, and like I hear from the Spirit. I was up here, and it was like, and I was reminded that maybe you have or have not been to a live studio, like maybe been a part of a studio audience. And back in the day when they had an audience, they would have they still have like these applause signs, right? And so like I'm coming at y'all like, don't you know when to clap? I'm like, it's Sunday service's fault. They don't have an applause meter that I can just push the button. So when I get invited back next year, we'll have an applause, and then I just won't have to say it. I just push the button, and then y'all will know when to clap. It'll be great. Bishop Martin, keep being you. I love it. This is I feel like Joe looks. Joe is like, see, this is why we made the movie. I knew what I was doing. Like, all I had to do was facilitate it and like turn them on and let them go. There it is. All right. The movement started in the small town of Possum Trot. For bonus points, who can tell me where Possum Trot is? Just by show of hands. Look at that. I like it. We got like 12% of y'all. I love it. Where is Possum Trot?
Possum Trot, you go to Center, Texas, go to Chevyville, Texas, go through Coonville.
I'm going to need you to say a city that we know. Stop it. That's like when people try to give me direction. Like, I don't know. Like,
well, Center, you know where Center is on the map. Possum Trot, go to Center, Chevyville, but then you have to go through Coonville to get to Possum Trot. If you don't go through Coonville, you will never find Possum Trot. It don't sound right.
I was about to say, that's what I was thinking. I was like, can they even say that?
Yeah, you can say that.
I don't know if you're right saying that. Okay. Okay. So the movement started in the small town of Possum Trot, but it has grown to have a profound impact globally. Just facts. How did the story go from local outreach to touching the hearts of people worldwide?
Because we have followed the movie quite well. And everywhere the movie was, most of the places, we was able to go there and speak on the behalf of the movie once they shown the trailer. And it has been something that I think that this is not something we done. This is a God thing, you all.
Hello.
Because God is teaching us something. He's showing us something. He's showing us compassion. He's showing us love. He's showing us that we all can do something. Everybody can adopt, but everybody can be something and do something. So what God is doing now, he's letting this whole world know. That's why he have gone worldwide, because he's letting this whole world know there are almost over 500,000 children in the system that need a home. Churches on every corner. Because I believe that it's more to church than going in, praying, singing a song, taking up collection, preaching a sermon, and dismiss. I believe that we ought to have the heart to reach out like Jesus did for us. He went all out of his way in order to bring us out. Then why can't we do the same thing? This is what the story is all about. This is the message that God wants us to know, that it's time for the people of God to stop talking and start walking. We don't walk and we don't talk enough. It's time now to start walking, because you can sit up here all day long and talk and never get anything done. But when you stand up and start walking and start letting this world know and letting the enemy know enough is enough. These are our children. I don't care if they're in Halifax, Boo Montana, Mule Shoe, Cotton Shoe, wherever they are, we're going to bring them out the system.
Young man. Get that. Now, I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure you didn't know about this at all, Bishop. I don't know if any of you three knew about this. I'm the MC and I didn't know about it. So, but I'm excited that I have the honor to share this though. Let me see, who should I get to help me out? Bishop Blake, because I know y'all have history. So could you hold that up so everybody can see it? Since y'all are panelists, y'all should get to see it first. Everybody look, check that out, check that out. Exclusive, fancy. Okay, they're like, what's going on, what's going on? We have the honor to proclaim today, March 7th, 2025, in the city of Austin, Texas, Bishop W.C. Martin Day. Thank you for asking, sir. Look, another mentor that I want to be like when I grow up, Bishop Blake, he was talking to me. I was clapping. He kept, can I hand it to him now? Can I hand it to him now? Oh, that's a good idea, yes. While you look at that, Bishop Martin, I'm going to read what the proclamation says. This is from our city, from our mayor. You know you're a legend. You know you're the man. You know you're the man of God when you get a day in a city you don't even live in. Come on, man, just talk that talk. I love it. And for those of you that haven't seen the movie, you need to see it because he's no different. They portray you exceptionally well. I love the part of the movie or the aspect of the movie where you went from adamant against adoption. You're like, no, we're not doing that. Like, take some pills or something, baby. I don't know, let's pray more. You going through, but we're not going to adopt children because you're going through. And then God, apparently from the movie, God spoke to you, and you went from like, nope, not gonna do it, to okay, let's eradicate the need for foster care in our community, right? It was amazing. So thank you for that.
Before you go there, let me tell you why I was so adamant against it. My biological son was born with severe brain damage, and he's been with me. He's 43 years old right now, but I could not see anything using up my time except for him. But he's, and Joe could tell you, and Bishop could tell you, you talking about a young man that love him some Jesus. And this young guy is really amazing in the church. So his name is Princeton. He's very knowledgeable. He loves people. He loves God. And that's why, but God let me know, I got Prince, just take care of my business.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to read what this says here. Be it known that whereas Bishop W.C. Martin has demonstrated unwavering dedication to his faith, his community, and the principles of compassion, service, and leadership. And whereas Bishop W.C. Martin has been a steadfast advocate for children and families, working tirelessly to support those in the foster care, adoption, and kinship care system, ensuring that every child can grow up in a loving and stable environment. And whereas Bishop W.C. Martin's works reflects the mission of the Big C Church, which has long been a pillar of hope and support for vulnerable children and families, providing resources, guidance, and unwavering love to those in need. And whereas through his ministry and outreach, Bishop W.C. Martin has strengthened the fabric of our community, fostering a spirit of unity, understanding, and faith. Now, therefore, I, Kirk Watson, Mayor of the City of Austin, Texas, do hereby proclaim March 7th, 2025 as Bishop W.C. Martin Day in Austin. Can we take that for you? We'll take that. We'll preserve this. I want to salute our other panelists. They understood the assignment. We planned it this way. We would have an intimate interview with Bishop Martin before we transition and bring everybody else in. I thank you for your service. I think that's why all three of you, our other panelists, are leaders, because whereas you recognize it's not about you, but it's about serving others. And you've even done that today on this panel. But now we will transition. Last question I'm going to ask for you, Bishop Martin, and then we're going to start talking. That's going to segue us to the next part. What role did storytelling, film, and technology play in sharing this message on a global scale?
I think it's this particular, we don't call it a movie. We call it a movement of God. And I think about sharing this on the technology side, It give people to see firsthand. This was the man right here. When they wanted to do this, make it sweet, soft little movie, this the man here that stood up and said, we want to show the raw stuff. We want people to really understand what they're dealing with, because we don't give false hope. We want to let them know how difficult it is. And it has been difficult, but I think this is letting people know this is what is going to happen. This was possibly can happen, but it also has a beginning and it has an end. I was talking to Bishop Blake last night, and he said something very powerful to me. And I told him one of the favorite passage of scriptures in the Bible is in Psalm 23. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will feel no evil. And when I don't feel no evil, it's because the Lord is with me. So Bishop Blake made the statement. He said, one thing I do know about that scripture, if God take you to it, he can take you through it.
Thank you. Now, we've done introductions. We know a little bit about what each of our other three panelists do. But now we're going to talk about that connection. First, partnering passion with technology. We've seen how technology can play a crucial role in driving social change. How has partnering passion with innovation allowed you to serve more people in the orphan care space? I'm going to start with you, Bishop Blake.
Well, the thing that we learned early as I was pastoring in Brownwood, Texas. Anybody know what Brownwood, Texas is? All right. As I was pastoring in Brownwood, Texas, there's a small town in central Texas. We had 6 boys that was in the foster care system that we took into our home. When those 6 boys came into our home, we realized after our house burned down, one of the boys was playing with matches, and if you can imagine your house burning down, your biological 6 was raised there, all pictures, everything gone. And if you can imagine the devastation and what everybody else has said, and our biological 6 says, what are y'all doing? You can't do this. I even thought, we're done. And the night that we were standing on the curb watching the house burn down, my wife said, when I was finna tell her, that's it, we're done, she then turned and said, I was gonna tell her that. And she looked at me and said, let's go to Walmart. I said, our house is burning. She said, they can't save it. You gotta go to work, they gotta go to school, let's go to Walmart. When we were on Focus on the Family and they interviewed us, they called it Walmart love. We then stood in front of our church the second Sunday in November, about 20 years ago, and we asked them to stand with us to take care of the 30,000 kids that were in the system at that time in Texas. And let's empty out our county to where we had more families waiting for kids than kids waiting for families. Our county became the first county in Texas that had more families than they did kids waiting. And because of that, I'll give a space. Is that a time to? Not for me. Not for me, for what our community did. I began to go to every church, every pastor in the community and say, let's chase the data. Let's chase the data. Let's make a mark. The state came down and say, what are y'all doing? How did you do it? All I could say to them was, you got to get your house burned down, and then we could tell you. But I said that the church is the answer, and the church can do it. And I went to churches, and I challenged them to step up to James 1:27, pure and undefiled religion is the care for widows and orphans in their distress. And then it says, keep yourself unspotted from the world. So orphan care is keeping yourself unspotted. I believe the child is the center and the focus of the church being the church. If it wasn't so, then why did Joseph come in the form of a baby in a basket? Why did Jesus come in the form of a baby? Something about the child that would bring synergy to a church, a community, a state, and to the government. We focus on the children. we'll have the answer. So that moved us, to, like Bishop said, to start a movement, even though that wasn't our intent. We did not know it. But we did know that we had to have a voice, and the voice had to be for the children.
Thank you. I want to make sure we get to touch on this. So can you give me the short answer? How has Care Portal's platform connected churches and communities to families in need?
Well, the Care Portal story in short. Joe Kinetic and the Global Orphanage Project sent a young man out across the country to find best practices. And this kid wound up in Brownwood, Texas. And I wondered, you went across the U.S. to find best practices? Have you been to Possum Trot? And he told me, he said, yeah, I'm going to go to Possum Trot, but tell me what did you do? And I said, I'm a preacher. And preachers can talk to preachers, and I challenge other pastors. And then that's how we did it. And then Adrian Lewis, that worked for the Global Orphan Project, he said, you have adopted a caseworker, and the caseworker send you a text. What if that were turned into technology, and we can use technology? The Global Orphan Project built the technology. We launched it right here in Austin, Texas, and I believe that was 12 years ago. Is that right? 10 years ago, we launched it right here in Austin, Texas. And guess what? Now we're back in Austin, Texas, challenging every one of you. Let's do it.
Perfect segue to Joe at Global Orphan Project. Can you talk about how technology through the Global Orphan Project has allowed you to reach a global audience and create lasting change?
I hope everybody understands right now, Bishop Blake in Brownwood, Texas at Greater Faith Community Church, that church over time stood up and they've fostered more than 400 children in this little church. So what you have on this stage in the spirit realm is royalty. These are the patriarchs of the church-to-child movement in America. And to answer that question, you know, you can have great technology, you can have great tools, but if you don't have the power, you have nothing. Just a humanitarian mission. And so the power that you see emanating from the altars, from these leaders, we just thought, well, what if we use technology to channel that? And it's really simple. We use sharing technology. You're all familiar. You get to the airport with it. You can get groceries dropped off. You can go get an Uber ride. But we don't use world-class technology to serve the most vulnerable. So we built a care-sharing technology to where people who see the needs of kids and families in crisis every day can enter the needs into an app, primarily upstream, before families break. And churches can take this DNA, build response teams, and say yes, and they can make a connection. And so from the time that I had the pleasure of meeting and learning from these two great leaders, we built this, and today this technology is in 38 states, and a network of more than 7,000 churches has served over 350,000 children through it. From this Genesis place, not one of them knows who we are. They see the local church actually being the hands and feet of Christ. And that's how we use technology. It's not to initiate, it is to facilitate and accelerate, just like what Upbring does so well. And I just want to, you know, I love the fact that we have people on this stage that are bent on innovation and on how to get better. These men did it when they had no tools, but we have people that can say, can we take that very same spirit and bring the best of technology so that this can go all over the nation and all over the world? And I have a huge respect for the work of Upbring, and that's where I'm going to kind of check out, because some of the work that they're doing in innovating solutions is just groundbreaking.
Mr. Mike Liu at Upbring, how has Upbring leveraged technology to address the needs of vulnerable children in Texas and beyond?
I agree with Care Portal. Look, what's at the core of what we do is faith. You know, faith is the force multiplier. Technology you can bring in to supplement everything that we try to do. I appreciate the compliments. Earlier today, we were having some discussions about what Upbring actually does on the technology side. And we've developed certain technologies, as an example, where we can do predictive analytics in a city, and we can tell you where we think child abuse is going to happen down to a city block. You know, we've also developed a tool now that combines both non-technology and technology to help determine what kind of interventions we should do for a child and measure how they're doing against it. And we also apply machine language and AI to that. And there's actually a patent pending for that. So there's all kinds of technology you can look at to try to help with this. You know, on the most technical side, this is an example I also gave, which, you know, Care Portal is very interested in. One of the biggest problems we have in the child care sector, child well-being sector, is the disparateness of data. You've probably heard it. You know, the doctor has information, the dentist has information, caseworker has information, the state has information, but it's all over the place. And so for the techies out there in this crowd, we sat back, and that's one of the hardest questions we have, and said, you know, how can you try to attack this? And we actually built a pilot using blockchain technology to try to take a look at this, to create that immutable data stream so everybody can take a look at it all at the same time. So those are the kind of things we're doing. I would agree with what's being set up here. Technology and what we can do is going to augment what these gentlemen do. The change agent catalysts are usually local. You know, then they probably need help to amplify or scale. And then there's some global organizations that are really big, but there's this gap that they need help. And I think that's where we can come in. You know, we have aspects of both local and global operations to us, and we're going to try to help these kinds of gentlemen do what we got to do. And I totally agree. It's all about the child. We're going to do, we actually started something in Dallas. We were already talking about it. We're going to do something in Austin called a Wellbeing Zone. And our goal, coincidentally, is we would like to help eradicate removals in foster care in particular parts of Austin. So that's what we're going to try to do. But again, we're blessed to have enough resources to try to bring more technology and ideas to this sector, and that's what we're going to do.
Thank you. Bishop, did you want to say something?
The technology of what you have today is one of the most fascinating things I ever could imagine. You all are blessed because you got hands-on. In Possum Trot, we did it with nothing and still don't have nothing. But we got each other and we got him. And because of the fact that all the beauty of the technology nowadays, there should not be one child left in that system. If you had to do it the way we did it, from ground up with nothing, had to fight the system, had to fight the community, had to fight the school, you would have gave up. But what technology do now, it just lays it right there in your hand that you can do whatever you need to do. So I advise you all, and I stand today to tell you all, you got some of the greatest tools that you ever can imagine, because you would have never been able to overcome what we had to overcome if you had to do it way we did it down there.
We're going to do some takeaways and a call to action. I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to sow that seed before we go. Joe, final takeaway for our audience. Something you want them to leave with.
Yeah, to take action, one of the things I'd love for you to do is, if you go to possumtrotimpact.com, we have the right for you to turn your churches into theaters and fill theaters and at no cost. So we can get the film to you in a link, and I would encourage you to do that. Bring in a crowd, bring in your congregations, bring in your neighbors, show them the movie, and be ready to call them to action. I was in Tallahassee, Florida a couple of days ago, and the pastor didn't know who I was or what role I had. He said, I just had my whole congregation come into my church, and we watched this movie together called Sound of Hope. And I called the congregation to action, and 40 families stepped up to go care for kids. So bring Possum Trot to your church, move people to action and take action. And the last thing I would say is do yourselves a favor. Take 5 minutes when this is done and meet this young man, Shaquan. If you want to know why this is all so important, the Lord is raising up new leaders in this country, and you need to spend some time with him because you'll start to realize that these children we're talking about are not the objects of our pity. They are the ones that will change this nation. So spend some time with this young man.
Mr. Liu?
Yeah, I don't think I have anything inconsistent to say. You know, I would continue what was just said. The call to action, I think, is be a part of the change. Okay, I would imagine a lot of you have heard about the ineffectiveness or inefficiencies of the existing systems. They're very rigid and they're very traditional, and it takes gentlemen like this to bring the ideas to it. And what we're looking for is for you to get involved and to amplify that change for us. So look for it. If you can't find it, contact one of us. But become a change agent yourself and help us do what we're trying to do.
Thank you. Mr. Blake?
My desire every time I have an altar call, two things we preachers do. We can do an altar call, and we can take up an offering there, too. So you got some money. But the altar call for me would be for you to pray about where does God have you in this continuum of care. Is it upstream before a kid goes into care because a family is going through some crisis? And before that child goes into care, you and your church, or personally, you stepped in to do something. Or in the middle, when they are in foster care or needing to be adopted, and for sure, before a child ages out of care and all the negative things happen to that child. You say, how can I step up? I'm not in the season where I can foster or adopt. The saying in this world, in the foster care world, is that everybody's not called to foster or adopt. Sometimes I wonder if people even call out kids, but I can't control that. Everybody's not called to foster up, but everybody, I believe, can do something. So the altar call is, what is my something? Right here in Austin, Dream Together 2030 has a foster care part of the 8 initiative there. And I don't know if this is doable or not, but if we had a sheet or something to where you could sign up and say, I'm interested in finding out more about Dream Together, and I'm willing to find out what my do something is. It may be Care Portal. It may be that you want to find out, well, how can I really find out where the most likely place it is? I want to find out where abuse and neglect can happen and work upstream. That may be what you want to do. If we can, don't leave this room without finding out if there's something that you can do.
Thank you for that. We'll make it easy. You just alluded to Dream Together 2030, an amazing organization serving right here in Austin. We just had a panel prior to this panel. One of the 8 aspects where Dream Together 2030 serves is in kinship, foster care, and adoption. So if you're a local and you've been moved by anything that's happened on the stage today, you should join us. We meet monthly. We do practical, actionable things that serve the community. I won't go into all the amazing things we do. If you see me on the side, I'd be happy to tell you about it. You made a great idea, sir. I will conclude. I'll make it easy. On these bottles, if you have a bottle of Change Water, the bottle that looks like this, there's a QR code. You can simply scan the QR code. It'll take you to a page, and then you can put your information in right now, because we just made this up. It'll say $1 Million Dreams. but we will nonetheless know that it will be to find out more information. Like you actually have an option to put like Dream Together or foster care, kinship, or adoption, and then we can connect you to Dream Together 2030. So that's an easy way to do it digitally, or if you see myself or anyone else, we'll be happy to share about it. You have been an amazing audience. It started rocky, but like top notch. I think you're the best here. Don't tell anybody else. So give it up for yourselves. Can we get a photo before? Oh, the website as well. Yeah. He got me thinking about forums. Pete's still doing this thing over here, people. You can also go to dreamtogether2030.com. Easy peasy. Dreamtogether2030.com. You can find out more information about the work that we're doing. Also, Dream Together 2030 is one reason why we're screening the film tomorrow at Houston Tillotson, where you can spend more time with Bishop Martin and you can see the movie. I've seen it multiple times. I look forward to seeing it tomorrow. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. If you've seen it before, come back and bring a friend this time. Let's help get the word out and advocate for these young children. That's our time. We're going to take a photo, and remember to come holler at our friend right here in the blue.